Hey folks, this is Kelly. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are talking about the new horror movie Barbarian, which is very good but necessitates an amount of discussing sexual assault. We talk about it in this episode in the context of the movie where it happens off screen, and while we avoid anything graphic, we wanted to warn you off the top in case you don't want to brush up against that today. In which case, we will see you next week to discuss the new horror movie Smile, which is about just casual, run-of-the-mill suicide. Did I mention this is a comedy podcast? Okay, pretend I transitioned out of this elegantly. Love you, bye. Hi, welcome to Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And today is a Shootin the Shit episode, which astute listeners, and I guess watchers, I guess you need your eyeballs for this part. Anyway, our art. Do you see our art? It's our Shootin the Shit art. This is our special edition Shootin the Shit art, also by Ryan Tate art, of course. He was on last week. You remember Halloween Tree. He's great. Links in the bio. God, who am I? Am I an Instagram influencer? What am I doing?
Like and subscribe. Ring the bell. Subscribe.
Yeah, bell, notifications, etc.
What do they do on TikTok now? Send me sunglasses. Wait, no, what is it? They do the lives. I don't know how it works.
I don't know.
Now it's Be Real. What is the social media app that we need to be on right now? I don't know. You guys write in. Tell us how to be hip. Maybe we shouldn't be. Maybe we should just be our age. Not Forever 21 anymore. I don't know.
Listen, my demographic is elder millennial. and I don't know how to break free of that. So, Shootin the Shit episode, new fun art. And today is going to be a pretty casual convo about Barbarian and Smile and whatever else pops into our little brains. So, yeah, these ones. These, the Shootin the Shit episodes are just like casual, loose convos instead of trying to deliver you a plot.
Yeah, we're definitely going to spoil a bunch of stuff. And these are new movies, so if you guys haven't seen them, I recommend seeing both of them. I'm just going to say that right off the top.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my recommendation. So if you haven't seen them and you want to see them or have been questioning whether or not to see them, yeah, you should watch them. I'm going back. I feel like I need to be like.
You should watch them.
I don't want to. You watch them.
Watch them. If you can only see one, I would say Barbarian.
Okay, that's what I was going to say too. Okay, thank God.
Yeah. And that one is now on HBO Max. So you can watch it in the comfort of your own home if you like. But, we talked, I think in our last Shootin the Shit episode about the magic of going to the movies. So if you have that opportunity, please do. This is, Barbarian is like really fun in a movie theater.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's fun in your home, too. I did rewatch it last night on HBO Max. So, we are going to spoil, and you do not want us to spoil Barbarian.
Or either of these movies.
I guess either of them.
Especially Barbarian, but either of them.
But I feel like Barbarian...
It's better to go in with nothing. Go in with very little.
Go in with nothing. Like, if you are going to watch this movie and... you like turn off the podcast right now. Like go, because I'm about to say some stuff. So leave. Okay.
You've been warned.
Now that they're gone.
Let's get started.
I didn't watch the trailer for Barbarian until after I had seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
And I only watched the trailer because a friend of mine, hey Savannah, I've mentioned her a couple times on the show. She's like newly getting into horror. And I was like, I don't know if she should watch this movie or if it's too scary. And she was like, I saw the trailer, so I kind of know what the scare vibe is. And I was like, I don't know if you do.
I don't think it lines up.
Savannah, turn off the podcast.
Oh, is she?
Turn it off. So I went and watched the trailer and was like, oh, no, she doesn't know.
You don't know. You really don't. And I had seen the trailer.
You don't know. The trailer is not the movie. And I love that. I love the way that they did it because the trailer looks like
I thought it was a completely different movie. Yeah.
It's totally different from the movie.
But it's not like it's still, I had seen the trailer before and it still left me intrigued enough to want to watch the movie. I had seen it because I follow Justin Long on Instagram. Oh, this is the elder millennial in me coming out, I guess. But he,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know him. I first fell in love with him in Jeepers Creepers. So,
Oh, I first fell in love with him in Drag Me to Hell.
oh, so like he's kind of like,
Yeah.
we love him in horror movies. We love what he's doing. That's fun that we both fell in love with him in different horror movies.
Yeah.
So whenever I saw that he was in this movie, I immediately was like, yeah. And then I saw that Skarsgård was in it as well. Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Pennywise
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
And then I was like, man, that is a really good cast. Like immediately from those two, I was like, I really want to see it. And the trailer made me want to see it. And the movie wasn't at all like the trailer, but I loved the movie.
I loved the movie. And the trailer is just like, it's not a lie. It's just sleight of hand.
It feels like it's about a bunch of people being trapped and like tortured in a thing, which is kind of, but not really.
Okay, this is interesting to me.
Which trailer did you watch? Did I ever watch a different trailer?
Oh, I don't know.
It made it seem like the whole movie happened at once. So like Justin Long was immediately at the beginning of it, and he goes in the house, and then everyone's kind of like trapped in a area where they're
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I don't even remember Justin Long in the trailer that I watched. I remember like
That's
our
okay. It
main
might have been
character
different ones.
Tess
Yes.
being like dragged into the downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember from the trailer thinking like, oh, this movie is going to be about the Skarsgård in the Airbnb. Like it looks like this movie was like, she got to the Airbnb and like, haha, it seems like an innocent like mix up, like a clerical mix up. And then the guy is a murderer.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I thought.
And that's what
you think is happening in the first part of the
for
movie.
the most part of it. And like that was such a smart casting move to choose him because he had just played Pennywise. So you're like, I know he plays deranged. I know he plays crazy very well. I feel like
That's
this
a
is
good
just going to
point.
completely fit this. And like he's also been in other what was the other one? Is it Wayward Pines where he's like a werewolf or someone's a werewolf?
Oh, I don't know.
But he's got like other stuff going on where he does play creepy, uneasy people. So I was like, yeah, full on murderer.
Yeah.
And this movie does play into that, but it's not. It's like this is one movie that completely, and this is why what I'm about to say is going to fuck up your movie watching experience if you haven't seen it. So once again, turn this off.
Turn it
fucking
off.
Go see it.
Go watch the movie. It's so good.
But it was a movie that completely subverted my expectation. Is subverted the right word?
It is.
Every one of my expectations just were thrown out the window. Because every time I watch a movie, I mean, I think I've gotten worse at this with age, but I'm pretty good at predicting what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that completely fucked me up. I was like,
absolutely same.
Okay, all right. Every like 10 minutes, it just went to a field that I never thought I would find myself in.
Okay, so one of the questions that I wrote down to bring up for you is, hold on, I want to make sure that I get it right. Oh, I didn't write anything clever. Never mind. At what point, so Pennywise Skarsgård plays a character named Keith. Mm-hmm. Which is already like, I don't trust that name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my Keiths out there. Like, I'm sure that you're fine and good, but I don't
You're
trust
not
that name.
Trustworthy. Let's be real. No, I'm just
Tell me that you have not had to overcome that. Nobody trusts a Keith. Am I right?
Oh. I'm trying to go through all the Keiths in my head. Sorry if your name is Keith and you're listening.
Oh, wait. There's like a Twitter user. Who's the Twitter user? I think there's a Twitter user named Keith, and his avatar is like maybe like a chick.
Like a chicken? Like a little baby chicken?
Yeah,
or
like
a woman?
No, like a baby chick.
Oh, okay.
Like a baby chicken.
You would never describe a woman as chick, so I should have known.
No, I would not. Anyway, at what point in the movie did you trust Keith?
I think when he had the night terror and yelled at her.
That's earlier than when I trusted him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was like, they wouldn't give away that character so quickly.
Oh,
But maybe you were already farther ahead where you're like, oh, they're just trying to win me over by making me assume that he's already.
Yes, I thought that was a misdirect.
Good
I was
move.
like,
Good
you're
move.
trying to tug at some heartstrings.
But the misdirect was a correct direction. I don't understand.
And I do want to say that, like, I wanted to like him. Like,
he was incredibly likable, and he was like trying to get her out of her bad relationship, being like, no, you don't deserve that. Don't feel like you do.
That actually rubbed me the wrong way. But the part where he was like babbling, trying to talk to her about like, I know she didn't drink your tea, so I waited to open the wine until you could see me open it.
And then I was like, oh, that is a good thought process. She didn't drink it because she didn't see you. And I was like, and that was good. Smart on her. I just felt like it was very smart. All of that was very smart. And him being like, I'm going to drink this. If you want some, I'm here. If you're not, that's fine. And she was, yeah.
But I also was like, why are you thinking so much about why I'm scared of you? And also, I've seen The Resident starring hunk Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I know that you can inject stuff through the cork. So, like, that's no, valid. I'm not drinking this wine.
And she didn't, and it was okay.
And then when he was like, oh, I watched the documentary that the woman you're interviewing with tomorrow, and I'm like...
It did seem too sus. It seemed a little sus.
I was like, oh, he's been stalking you? Like, this goes so deep. So I literally
had a different movie in our head as we were, and that's what it does. It puts you into a different movie, and you're watching a different movie for the first like 20 minutes.
It like shifts all of a sudden, and you're like,
what the fuck? Once again, if you have not watched it, go watch the movie.
Like, leave right now, because the next thing I am going to say is going to ruin it. I did not trust Keith until he died.
Yeah.
Like that scene.
Well, that
where
scene
his
when he's
head
like
is being slammed into the wall. I was like, oh no, Keith was a good guy.
Well, because he's like, don't go that way. She's there. That or whatever it is in there. Don't go that way.
Yeah, he's
and
like,
I was like, does he want her to go deeper into the catacombs?
That's what I was like. We already passed like human-sized cages. And like, why did he go down here in the first place?
Man, so well done. I'm just
so
like,
well done.
Because even to the point where he died, like you were still questioning every one of his motives the entire time.
Especially because, so she gets trapped in the basement, right? And then he comes home, and she like, so while she's trapped in the basement, she like finds the weird room with the bed and the camera and the bucket, and then she's like, we gotta go, we're in danger, we have to leave the house now. And he's like, you're crazy. Like, no, why do we have to? So you found a bed and a camera and a bucket? Like, that doesn't sound scary. And she's like, okay, well, like, believe whatever you want, I'm leaving. And she tries to leave the house, and he physically bars her path.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, like, no,
yeah.
Under no circumstances.
When you were at home, I guess you don't, if you're at home and watching this would be a moment in a lot of these scenes, you'd be like, just leave. Just leave. Just walk out. What are you doing? Just leave. Just leave. This is your moment to leave. Just go. Just go.
I know. I did keep finding myself in that thought process. And then I was like, okay, so what does she
Would I leave though?
do? Like, she can't. So she tried to find another like hotel, and there's that convention in town. So there's not like another place for her to go. And it seems like she had to drive a long way to get here. Right? Because she like got here in the middle of the night, clearly exhausted.
She's in Detroit and she was from DC?
Fuck, that's a long way.
Or something like that. She was pretty far away. Yeah, I remember being like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But did she fly in and get a rental? I think that might be the other part. I think she may have flown in and got a rental.
I don't think so, because they kept cutting to like something that she had hung in the windowsill.
Okay.
Yeah, not the windowsill, from the like rear view. Yeah, so I think it was her car. She must have driven. Plus her boyfriend at home does suck, so like you can't call him. And then she tries to call the cops, and they don't do shit. So like she's really stuck. Here's what I think I would do. Can you call the gal that you just interviewed with?
She seemed to really care about her and be concerned about where she was staying.
And she was like, I'm going to call you tomorrow. Like, she got the job.
Yeah.
So, like, can you call her and be like, hey, do you remember how I was staying in that shady place? Do you have space for me?
Yeah.
I don't think that I would do that, actually. I think that I would feel too
I don't
uncomfortable.
know. It would be like very close to being like parking in a Walmart parking lot and just going to sleep there.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, just right by one of those lamps.
I mean, you're in
If you
Detroit.
have a vehicle, I was like, if you have a vehicle, get out. Just go anywhere. Go to a town an hour away.
It's 30 minutes to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Go. Hey, Savannah. She lives in Ann Arbor.
We hope you turned it off and then watched the movie
Yeah,
and came
Savannah,
back.
what the fuck? go watch the movie. Or don't. I don't know. You're scared.
This is a very, and like, the scares in this movie were phenomenal. Like, that first scare.
Oh my God. Wait. Which first scare?
Whenever
When her
Keith-
bedroom door opens?
Oh, no. I didn't count that one. I mean, that is a first scare, but I didn't think that was that scary.
Okay, then which one are you counting?
Keith.
Keith?
At the
When
end of
he's-
his life.
Oh,
In that moment.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like when the movie shifts.
Yeah.
Okay, so
At first, it seems like it's going to be some. Okay, I was also reading fun facts about this movie, as per usual. There isn't a lot of them, but it said that he described it as being a David Fincher movie on top, but underground, it was a Sam Raimi movie. So he
Yes.
tried to make stylistically the two different levels feel completely
Okay,
like
well,
different
crushed it.
movies.
you know. So that's why I like, for the home listener, when Chelsea was like, the scares are phenomenal, I got a little bit flustered and like conflicted, because they are. I don't want to take anything away from that. They are impeccably done, but they aren't like scary horror to me. They're funny horror. The movie isn't funny though.
Is it not?
Parts of it are.
What is this movie?
But it's not like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I think it's like exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know, it is Sam Raimi, but it's not goofy.
Oh. Yeah.
So this is why I don't know. I know that I keep bringing up Savannah, but she is like on a new horror journey, and she's trying to figure this out too, like where her like horror limit is. And this one really stumps me, because I'm like, yes, it's scary, but it's not super jump scary.
I think it
Compared to
sorry,
Smile.
it's taking me like half. Yeah. No, Smile was all jump scare. Like that was 90% jump scares.
Yeah.
But then there was still more to it. But with Barbarian, it was like, I would recommend this because of what happens for the rest of the movie and the
to
end
somebody
of the movie.
who's new to horror.
I don't know. Ryan doesn't watch horror movies and he liked this one.
Because it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I say that. I don't want to like say he will watch horror movies, but they aren't his main bag like they are mine and Kelly's.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He didn't start a podcast about it.
But this, like, and what this movie becomes, and I don't want to be like the moral of the story, but what it ends up being is like, oh my fucking God.
I know.
Like,
The thesis
how did it
of
get
the movie.
here?
I know.
but it's so amazing and I can't. Bleh.
And that's also why I think the trailer is so good, because the trailer looks like man kills woman.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's
Which-
like that's sort of what the movie is
That's
about.
the film. Yeah.
It wasn't that man and that woman,
Nope.
but like that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, oh, I love it. I loved this movie. I think that this is going to be a favorite of mine for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't one that I'm going to like watch and forget and never watch again.
I think that I will end up watching it probably every year, if not every other year, for a while, just because it's not. And I do want to talk about the theses of the film, who the Barbarian
We got
actually
to.
is.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
holy shit.
I know.
So I know we're not going like a deep dive into the plot, so you guys go watch the movie. I don't watch the movie because we're only going to glaze over certain things and you're going to miss a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're assuming that you know everything.
Yeah. So the monster that you see in the film is a woman who's trying to be a mother, but she is a woman that has been inbred for years and she's stuck down in a basement and she's a monster. She's become a giant monster. So at some point, Justin Long, who is now not Justin Long in the movie, but he is an actor who is getting in trouble for some rape allegations for raping
Let's
someone.
go ahead and say it, for raping someone. Yeah.
So he then is going to lose all his money, going to be out of stuff. So he has to go to an Airbnb that he's renting out. And I don't even
No, that he owns. Sorry, just want to make that clear. Yeah.
He owns, and then he's going to go work on selling the property so he can get more liquidation because he has no money because of, no longer being famous for being fees. So he ends up going and back to this Airbnb, and we can have a whole other fucking conversation on Airbnbs. I have very serious opinions, and I also have friends that have Airbnbs, so it's very difficult and conflicting. It's not conflicting. I don't like them. I don't like landlords. I don't like people who buy single family homes and rent them out. Anyway, I'm sorry if you're a listener and you do those things. It makes me sad. It makes me upset as somebody who comes from a lower income household. Anyway, that's just my little tirade on Airbnbs. Anyway, so Justin Long, as a garbage human, owns an Airbnb. Shocking. Anyway, so he goes and he stays in this and he's like, fuck, there's a bunch of people's stuff in here, because we just talked about Keith dying. He gets beaten. His face gets beaten in by that giant woman monster that we were talking about. And we haven't heard from Tess. So he finds all their shit in the house and he's like, somebody's here. And he like gets angry and complains to his like agent.
Property manager. Yeah.
And then he's like, he's very, very Karen like about all of it. And I know we had hinted at this, but the thing that I liked, because he was trying to sell the house, he did get so fucking excited about finding the extra room down in the basement, and then he kept measuring for square footage, and then when he found like the stairs that go down into the catacombs, he was like, oh, thank fucking God, this is so much square footage. And I was like, and like, this is why it might be a comedy.
And there's such a funny scene. So he however, is down in the basement for whatever reason. He thinks somebody is down there. Is that why he goes down? He hears noises, I think.
Yeah, I think he's trying to figure out where the people who are supposed to be staying there. Yeah, he thinks there's like a
squatter. So he's down there and he finds this spare room. That's like how he's thinking of it. It's the room with the mattress and the camera and the bucket that Tess was so scared of. And he goes back upstairs so excited to Google can I list below ground square footage in my total square footage when I'm trying to sell a property. And he's like, he has that line that's from Dumb and Dumber. He's like, okay, so maybe I can make this work, because the laws are no, you can't unless. And he's like, so you're saying there's a chance?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God. And I loved that they made the measuring tape scary. He hooks the measuring tape at the top of the stairs and then goes on down into this weird tunnel under the house and is measuring. And then at some point something unhooks it and it comes flinging back to him. And my first thought was oh, you're going to lose a finger.
Oh yeah. No, I hate measuring tapes. I hate them.
We're losing a digit. That's what's happening here. And once again, subverted my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what happened. And it was even scarier. Something grabs the measuring tape out of his hand. Oh, great scare.
So good.
Great scare. Loved it. Love this movie.
And then you just he finds Tess, and basically he runs away from something, and then he falls into a hole and he finds Tess, and Tess is like, just be chill. Because the woman wants to be a mother and she's trying to give him milk, and it's very kind of gross, uncomfortable. And Tess knows nothing about this guy. So a lot of what happens after this is because Tess knows nothing about him. I think if she knew more about him, she would not have made decisions
Well,
that
she was
made.
trapped underground when the rape allegations
That's valid.
became public.
But at some point, he ends up getting pulled out by her, and then there's a really gross scene of her breastfeeding Justin Long.
Trying to breastfeed him, yeah.
It's pretty gross, and
But
then
also,
Tess
like,
gets out.
Justin Long just raped a woman.
Yeah.
And now we get this scene of a woman, like,
Forcing.
that's like the flip side of that, but with like a totally different context. Like, how does it feel for your space to be violated? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel? Is this good? Do you like this?
Yeah. It is a very, I don't want to be like intense scene, but it doesn't cut away. It stays there.
Yeah.
It stays with it.
And there's like this added level of weirdness. And I think that this part falls into the Fincher category as opposed to the Raimi category, because she has made like a den that is illuminated by a TV playing an old VHS
on how to breastfeed.
And the like dialogue of that video is like, it's relaxing for both the baby and me. Like, and then it's like juxtaposed with this
complete discomfort.
Yeah. Like violent scene.
Yep.
You know, like, whoa. But yeah, Tess gets out.
And she
Hell
does
yeah, Tess.
the nice thing, and she tries to get cops back there, and she's like, hey, somebody's down there, we have to go in, and they refuse to go in because she doesn't have the keys anymore. She doesn't have the keys because of a long thing that happened earlier. And she can't get in, and she can't get her ID. She's messy because she came from an underground hole.
Right.
And they're treating her like she's a crazy person, and she's like, I'm not crazy, all this stuff just happened. But this was also something that I find completely terrifying, which is something that we'll touch on when we talk about Smile. It's just people not fucking believing you.
Yeah.
Just straight up telling them exactly what happened and no one believing you.
This is like additional. So the like main thesis of the movie is like men commit 1,000 violences against women every day and don't think twice about it.
Yes.
And this part was like an additional layer to that, because this all takes place in like a neighborhood of Detroit that is still super run down and abandoned, and there's a lot of poverty there and therefore a lot of crime, and it's clear that the cops do not give a single shit about it. And so not only are they dismissing her because she's a woman, but they also assume that she's like a homeless junkie.
Yeah.
And so it's like all of these things compounding on top of each other for an infuriating scene. Like at one point the cop is like, the only crime I've seen here is you breaking the window on this house. And she's like, yeah, to fucking escape from a monster. Like,
yeah, it is. So I don't know. And then it goes into, well, because she finds out that a guy that she thought was trying to attack her earlier is actually a good dude. And he's basically like, yeah, no. I know about the crazy woman in there. Not good. She's not the worst thing down there. And
like, that's scary.
So she's like, he's still down there. I got to go get him. So she tries to go get Justin Long's character. And the character arc he has that is flat, I don't know. But it is, she saves him. The man who put the woman down there created that quote unquote monster that's down there. He was down there. He had tortured a bunch of people. He had videotapes of it. Justin Long found him. And I'm going to make this very quick as I can. And he ends up taking his life down there, and Justin Long leaves. But there is a moment in this that I kind of wanted to talk about when that was happening. He watched the video and he saw the horrendous things he did. But even when the guy brought the gun to his area, I don't know if his face, his head, I can't remember the specific
temple?
words. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't remember where he did it. So, but he was like, oh, no. And I was like, this was a part where I'm like, is he seeing himself in this guy? Because he also sees that he did horrendous acts and is like, oh, you can be redeemed type of a moment.
I don't know. Okay. Wait, what do you mean you can? Oh, you think that
He felt
you
like
think
he
that
could be
Justin
redeemed.
Long
Justin
is
Long
like,
had a feeling in himself that was like, oh, I did something awful. He did something awful. We can still be saved. It's fine. It's fine.
okay, I think that Justin Long was like, I'm not bad. This guy is bad.
Yeah. I mean, he totally was that way.
Like
In
Justin
comparison.
Long is like, I only raped a woman. I didn't chain her to a bed and videotape it and make her
True.
have babies
True,
and then have sex with the
babies with those
babies
babies.
and
Yeah.
have those have babies. He's like, all I did was a casual rape. This is like a career rapist. We're different.
Yep.
Like, because in the next scene, yeah, so this old guy who was like a serial, oh, and I did want to bring up, this guy was like a serial killer, raper.
I don't know, all of the above.
Kidnapper.
Bad,
yeah, all of the
just
things.
terrible.
Bad. In this, we get like a flashback of him, I guess in like, what year would you think that was? 50s?
Yeah, 50s or 60s, sometime in there.
50s or 60s. Back when this town was like just about to downturn, like just before things went bad. And did you recognize the neighbor?
He looked familiar.
That is comedian Kurt Braunohler. And I screamed like everybody else is screaming in the movie when people's heads are being bashed in against cave walls. And I'm like, ah!
You're like, great casting choice.
And he's just like, what a fun role for him to have, because he just plays the neighbor and he's like, hey, me and the missus are moving. What about you? And the guy is like, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like end of scene. But yeah, this guy.
I love how they fed us the backstory by just giving us that quick scene of him. Like, he buys like some diapers and then he like creepily goes into a woman's house and unlocks her window. Posing as like a plumbing guy or something like that, or an electrician. He is posing as something. But I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this movie has an assumption of intelligence on the backstory that you picked up on what's going on, which I appreciated, and it didn't just try to like be like, I found this news article on this guy who had impregnated a bunch of women in the 1960s.
No, none of that. We get this flashback and the story from the like Good Samaritan who tries to stop Tess from going in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And even that whole scene of the bad guy, he's the barbarian, right? Or I guess men are the barbarian. Is the barbarian a metaphor?
What is Justin Long's name in the movie? I don't want to keep calling him Justin because I think as a person,
AJ.
He's probably all right. Okay, so AJ.
He's a barbarian.
Yeah, he's for sure. I think he's and probably the man that was down in the room. But
Men are the barbarian.
Men are the barbarian, and this movie. Men are the barbarian. Is this what everybody wanted men to be?
Oh, I didn't see.
I didn't see it either, but everyone was like, "This is obviously written by a man." But I feel like this was
Was this movie written by a woman?
It was written by a man, but I thought.
Oh.
But I thought it was done so well. Like, I can't... Wait, no, fuck. Am I lying?
I don't know.
Fuck. Okay,
I meant to look it up and I forgot to. But I did
thought
want
it
to
was
talk
the same
about
writer-director, and he had done a short film, and this was the... Fuck,
Oh,
am I
cool.
thinking of Smile? We shouldn't have talked about 2 movies in one night. I'm going to have a hard time keeping them straight. I'm going to check it. And
Okay,
we're gonna
you
come
check
back.
it. I'm going to talk a little about this grocery store scene. So our like serial killer who like flash forward is going to shoot himself in front of Justin Long's character, AJ. He, like Chelsea said, before he goes to like kidnap a woman, he goes to the grocery store and asks a woman there for help, an employee for help to buy baby supplies. And like, that's where he buys this breastfeeding VHS, and she gets him like diapers and stuff. And I was like, man, he's even made this woman, like, he's made her an accomplice, like an unwitting accomplice. Like, this is also violent. This is also an abuse. Oh my God. This movie. What did you find out?
It's the same guy. I think the same thing happened with Smile, but it's a man named Zach Krager. I'm trying to see what else he has directed. He does have an upcoming project called Mars, which I'm so excited for anything this guy puts out, and I'm so excited to maybe go back and look at some stuff. He did do... Okay. So I'm looking at actor, and he was in a bunch of Whitest Kids You Know skits, I think.
Oh,
yeah. So,
which one?
So hold on, let me look at his directing. This might have been the only movie he's written a couple. He's directed Barbarian.
Raping your churches, burning your women. Sorry.
And
I
he
love
also,
Whitest Kids You Know. R.I.P. Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like they might have been. He was the director for Miss March and a bunch of Whitest Kids 53 episodes.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, they were probably pretty close.
You know, that feels good and right to me.
Yeah, I think if you look it up, I think he is one of the Whitest Kids. Sorry. I think he is one of the Whitest Kids You Know
was like a sketch group for
he is one of the Whitest Kids
early
You Know,
2000s. Okay. If you guys don't know them, I would encourage you to check them out. I know that they did get a TV show. I never watched it, but I did watch all of their YouTube stuff before they got picked up. And that is so funny. That was that like raping your churches, burning your women. It was a sketch like making fun of bad people.
Well, it makes sense because it like, and then he went on to make this wonderful, perfect movie.
Yeah, that totally tracks. That 100% tracks, especially like when you. So Whitest Kids You Know did a lot of like, humor, but also smart humor.
Yes.
And you see, I think that you see like that smart humor and like going back to like the kills being really exaggerated. I think that has a very like sketch comedy aesthetic to it, you know?
Interesting.
like make it bigger, make it like more absurd, make it more absurd. So that tracks. Oh,
yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, like until we looked that up. Same, and I think Smile also writer director is the same person.
Okay.
Which, I mean, standout movies this year, both of them were in my opinion. So like, good job, guys. And I think it looks like the first feature. There were a couple of feature length films, so I don't want to say it's the first one. But yeah, I'm glad that he's getting recognized, and I'm excited to see whatever he does in the future. But when we talk about Justin Long being the Barbarian, Tess goes down. She gets him out. He gets out. And then you have this beautiful moment whenever they get to the water tower because
Okay, we do need to mention he fucking shoots her.
Oh, he does.
She goes down looking for him. Before she goes down, the large woman is coming out of the house, which is just what the homeless man who was trying to help Tess said she would do. She comes out at night. And so Tess goes back to the house trying to help this fucking rapist. She doesn't know that. Trying to help Justin Long, and runs into the large woman against the side of the house. And it looks like, okay, we've killed Big Bad. We've pinned her against the house. So AJ. She goes downstairs looking for AJ, and he's a little fucking pissant scaredy pants and shoots her in the goddamn stomach before they escape the house. At which point the woman is gone and they go to the water tower. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. That's exactly what happens. So then they get to the water tower, and then you have this moment where you think that there is a beautiful character arc for Justin Long where he's for AJ.
That's not what I thought.
For AJ. Oh, okay.
Go on.
Where he's trying to question whether or not like you can be good after doing a terrible thing, and how you can be a better person, and how one instance might not define you. And you're like, okay, maybe he is going to be a good person. No, he's not.
No, he's not. And also, I love it when this happens. When we watch the same scene and come away with totally different feelings.
Because I always like, this is something that I have a problem with, which is not true. There's one part that I think you edited out where I expected the worst out of people. And you expected the better out of people.
Well, yeah, but, I only edited it out because we like contradicted ourselves immediately and got too serious, and it like wasn't a funny bit. So I cut
like
it.
50% of our pod. But this is one where I just like expected the better of him, because I'm like, oh yeah, redemption. Everybody can redeem themselves. Everyone can be better. That's why in a terrible place at my job. It's fine. It's fine. It's because I always expect everyone to be better. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? They're trying. Everyone's trying. Everyone's good. Everyone's good in their hearts. No, they're not. AJ's funny? Not.
Do you know what's funny is what I cut out previously was you saying that you always expect the worst. And then you immediately like said the opposite. And what I had been saying was, oh, I always expect the worst. And then I immediately said the reverse, so like whatever. But watching the scene, I was like, I didn't think that it was a redemption arc for him. I was like, he's trying to convince himself because he's sitting there like muttering. He's like, am I a good person? I don't know. Well, like, maybe I've done bad things. Like, even in that moment, he can't accept that he has done bad things. Mm-hmm. He's like, he's still not like taking ownership for this, for the fact that he raped somebody and that like, that is objectively a bad thing. Yep. He's like, I think that I can still be a good person. Like, I mean, maybe that's a separate question, but he was like muttering like a madman. He was like trying to, okay, here's why this scene bothered me, is because he didn't do any sort of that reflection, even when he had this like huge lawsuit against him. Mm-hmm. And that's because he like doesn't in his brain think of sexually assaulting somebody, of raping somebody as like a bad thing. He had to see that he shot somebody to be like, well, this is bad. Yeah. This is the bad thing. Like,
and I also do want to add on that they do a phenomenal job at like the way that he talks about his rape is so well done, because it's like he denies it completely on the phone with his agents and stuff. And then he's getting drunk with a friend, and the friend was like, but what really happened? And then the way he describes it is like,
oh God,
she kept saying no. She kept saying no, but you know, she was into it. So it was fine. And then it got to a point where it was like, and he's like, she stopped saying no.
He spins it as like a positive character trait. His friend is like, I mean, did she say no? And AJ is like, I mean, at first, but I'm persistent.
And
like,
it's pretty, but I was like, man, I like that. I just like that movie put that out there as what is happening, as opposed to pretending like it's just, I don't know, something else. Because there is a lot of times whenever after some time, people shut down.
Yeah.
People shut down, and that's just how it goes. And I feel like that was a great way of capturing that.
And he also, like, he kept saying, I think if I could just call her, we could nip this in the bud. And then he does drunkenly call her.
And it's still fucking terrible.
It's so terrible. He's like, I'm okay. He does the same thing.
I'm sorry if you think I hurt you.
He said, yes, it was like that. I'm sorry if you think this. And I liked that they used that phrase because it echoed what Keith said when he was barring Tess from leaving the house. Oh. He was like, I'm sorry, it seems like I'm not taking you seriously. And I was like, oh, we're fucking seeing it. Like all of these different like levels. It's the same strategy. Like it's the same words, it's the same technique, even if it's a different like end goal. And like what he says to her, he like AJ leaves her like a voice recording. He doesn't a voicemail, I guess is what you call them. He doesn't even like
yes, them voice recordings, that answering machine voice.
And the like incentive he leaves, he's like, if you'll just call me back, I'll apologize to you again.
I'm like, well, that's okay, not helpful. If you could go back in time and take away that trauma, that would be appreciated. But yeah, so what ends up happening, culminating after he has this moment of muttering to himself, thinking maybe he can be a good person, maybe he can be a good person, maybe it'll be all right. I'm gonna call the monster mama. So mama comes in and just rips the helpful man's arm off. That's the original man that tried to save the girl. And Tess and AJ try to run away, and AJ is a piece of shit. And he runs way far ahead of her. She's barely lagging behind, and they get to the top of the water tower.
In the gut, right? Like that's supposed to be one of the more painful shoots And that means the bullet is like in her.
Not in a good place.
You know?
Yeah.
It's bad.
And then they're at the top of the water tower, and AJ is just like, she can only get to one of us. And he just shoves Tess off the water tower.
Fucking piece of shit.
Mama jumps after her, and they both fall to the ground. So then we think that AJ is good to go. He saved himself. He feels good about himself, and he gets down to the bottom. Turns out Tess is still alive. And he's like, oh, I had to do it. I had to do it. This is where we're at. This is the thing that's happening. And for the first time in the movie, Mama wakes up angry. And you're like, yeah, Mama. Yeah, do what you fucking need to do. And then she takes control and she just fucking ruins AJ. And it is a disgustingly beautiful moment.
It's so gross and so exaggerated. This is a Sam Raimi scene.
That would be, yeah. It was gooey, if I do say so myself.
It was gooey, yeah, for sure, gooey. And I also felt like it was an homage to very old horror movies,
yeah,
like
that's
classic
true.
horror, like the way the lighting is hitting. So you see in a lot of older horror movies, like black and white horror movies, you'll see your like leading lady, your ingenue. Like think of in Psycho in the bathtub scene. So the film, the like camera pans to just see our gal, and the like lighting is really harsh from one side. Same thing we see against Justin Long. And then you see our ingenue like just sort of staring and maybe screaming. Like that's the action. And we get like a split second of that from Justin Long. It's like a very classic old horror movie shot, but instead of like a pretty young lady, we've got Justin Long, and instead of a knife in the bathtub, it's thumbs and eye sockets. But that like moment of stillness really stuck out to me. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it.
So I did go with, like, every time Ryan and I go see a movie in the theater, we have to, like, we're in downtown, so we have to walk pretty far before we're away from people because, you know, you guys know how we feel about spoilers. Even though we spoil the shit out of everything, we try to warn you beforehand.
We put it in the episode title. You know what we're talking about.
So
you can opt in or out.
Yeah. So we had to get pretty far, but I was like, I have so many fucking things to say about it. But it's so well done. And I did read in let me pull it up so I don't just completely misquote it. In the trivia, I did read that this was based on a woman's or a short story about a woman seeing red flags and ignoring them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is correct. That is 100% what happened this entire movie, and the amount of women that do that. I mean, I'm guilty of it pretty consistently, so I'm not going to shame anyone for it.
Yeah, no, I've been meaning to talk to you about Ryan. Yeah.
He loves Halloween too much. Oh, yes. Also, he's good friends with Jordan Peele, so he, like, consulted with him a lot during the movie,
nice.
Which is really good because commentary on social issues in horror, we know, and I know we kind of talked about it, is that horror is really good at making that commentary on social issues without it being, like, dramatic movies you expect to get an Oscar, but this is something that I feel like has a good, I don't want to say a good punch, that's not right, but the way that horror does make commentary on the current culture, I think that this was doing a really, really good job about that.
Yeah. God, and even the way they did that trailer, like, lure you in.
Originally, he offered the role of AJ to Zac Efron, and he was like, no. I think that Justin Long played it so well because I find Justin Long so fucking likable that it made me upset. And I was like, good job making somebody that I find incredibly likable just a piece of shit.
Yes, agreed. Like, Justin Long has, like, a sweet face.
Yeah, he does.
And, like, he seems like he's going to be like Boy Next Door.
Mm-mm.
Whereas if you hire Zac Efron, you're like, yeah, of course he raped somebody. Like I like Zac Efron. Has he been canceled? As far as I know,
so.
he's like nice and good, and we like him. And I think
and he had that really nice TV show on Netflix. I really liked that.
Yeah,
we're okay with Zac Efron until something comes out.
Zac Efron. I do think he's very handsome. I just mean that he's like too handsome.
That might be true. He is.
You know what
handsome.
I mean?
But Justin Long is not too handsome. He just has an approachable handsome to him.
Exactly. Like he's a cutie patootie.
Yeah.
But like Zac Efron, I don't know. Was that maybe I'm being now I'm being
you're
a barbarian.
Part of the problem.
I'm a barbarian now.
So the part that I was going to get at, the script started out after the Zach Kreger read Gavin De Becker's book, The Gift of Fear, which encourages women to trust their intuition when confronted by obviously dangerous
Wait, is that
men.
also by a boy?
Yeah, which is weird.
Man.
We don't... Oh, are they mansplaining how we feel about things?
No, I think they're allies.
They did an okay job. I don't want to be upset by it. Like,
I think they did a good job. Unless, am I not thinking critically enough? Do I need to critical harder? No, I'm not going to let their genitals take this movie away from me. I like this movie.
It's a good movie.
I do want to talk about the very end, though.
Oh.
So Justin Long dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mama tries to like scoop up Tess to take her back to the house. And she's like, so when Tess was trapped back at the house, she was the one who was like playing into it. She was acting like baby to like play into her play into this fantasy to save herself, which by the way is what you're like supposed to do if you're kidnapped, play into the fantasy. And that's what Tess is doing. And here in this last scene, Mama is like, oh no, you've been wounded. Like it's clear that she's like distraught by the gunshot in Tess's belly. And she's like trying to lift her to take her home. And Tess is like, no, I can't go back there. I can't go back there. I can't go back there. And Mama is insistent. And Tess lifts up the gun and points it at Mama's face. And Mama like boops her on the nose. Like she's still being like a mom. And then, fade to black.
Yeah.
Not fade, like quick snap to black because we know what happened.
Shortly after, Tess gets up and she walks over.
And she walks away, yeah.
But yeah, it is so... The art... That's who had a character arc was Mama.
Yeah, I know. Like she's for sure not Barbarian.
Yeah, but that is what like she is pictured to be the Barbarian because of like the obvious Barbarian,
right?
But she's not it. She is a caring monster. She's a monster, but she cares deeply about.
So
the people
this
around
is why
her.
I went to see a National Theater Live simulcast of Frankenstein the play from a few years ago, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Frankenstein's monster. In the production I saw, so when it was like airing, he and Dr. Frankenstein like swapped. Yeah, they swapped. They switched. Every night, which role they were playing?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they Taylor Swift. That's what Midnight's is about. So, but when I got out of Frankenstein, I was like, Barbarian.
Yeah.
like another like monster, air quotes, big air quotes, society sees as a monster, but like
the real monster is
they're
society.
not the monster. Yeah.
It was so good. Oh,
so good.
So good.
So good. I also hated Justin Long is like talking to him. I'm sorry, AJ. I know that you don't want me to keep saying Justin
okay.
Long.
I just feel bad attributing him as a person to this
We
character.
love Justin Long, unless he's been canceled. We love Justin Long.
Let us know, but I don't
actor.
think he has. He still seems great. He's dating Kate Bosworth, who is now doing a ton of horror movies. I don't know if it's by influence of Justin Long, but I kind of hope it is.
So. That's cute.
I think they met on a horror movie.
Oh, I like that.
Eventually, we'll do a Justin Long series.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we have Drag Me to Hell. We have Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do Jeepers Creepers because
Jeepers Creepers guy has for sure been canceled. But in that last scene, he's like right before his eyeballs, he's like trying to get Tess on her feet to get her to safety. And he's gaslighting her even in that scene. He's like, I didn't throw you. You slipped. You get it. I'm saving you. I'm saving you. And I was like, who are you trying to convince? Like, you're doing that again. Like, you're
yourself?
bad. And you're like doing like a press spin on yourself afterward.
So he's great. Is what I think. So AJ, fucking terrible. Justin Long as AJ.
Justin
fucking
Long,
great job. Great job.
No, he crushed it.
Everybody in this movie did a great job. The casting was done well. Directing done well, writing done well. I can't think of something that I have to complain about this movie. I would like to figure out something. There have been reviews where people have complained about stuff.
No.
I don't agree with them, but it is there. But this one to me was this
was a hit.
Yeah.
This was a hit for me.
And it was not what I expected, and I was excited. Like, I've had a hard time trying to figure out. I haven't watched Hellraiser yet. I'm excited to watch it, but that's the only one that is on them TVs that I'm excited about right now. But I was excited to go to a theater and watch a movie, and I'm so happy that this was the movie that I watched. And it was so good. And it fucking rocks. I don't know how to...
Agreed. Agreed.
And I just kind of like... And I don't want to like not all men this. I know that not every dude is fucking terrible. This was written by a dude. He's like, unless he's buying into the same thing, and he's also the kind of guy that gaslights and makes people feel terrible.
Yeah, maybe he's performing really well. It's hard to know.
Good job. But to that point, like, I'm not like blaming all dudes, but there are some dudes that are these people in this movie, and it is, you have met them. Even as a dude, you have also met them in your life, and you know who they are, and they are fucking garbage, and it is just nice to watch somebody squish their eyes out.
Yeah. I also just love that it was like weaponized motherhood. Like, take this thing that is quintessentially, like, you think of women as less, and yet they are. And so you take this thing that is like inextricable from
a woman.
Yeah, I don't even want to say that, because like that is fraught. Like, there are, like, you are a woman whether or not you are a mother.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like, stereotypically, and that's what this movie is about, right? Is like these big, broad ideas. Like, you think of women, you think of mothers, and to turn that thing, and like, in the case of the serial killer, kidnapper, rapist who lived in that house, the like thing that you covet them for, and turn it into the weapon. Fucking chef's kiss.
Oof.
I love that. Like, you created this monster, this quote unquote monster.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing that you were abusing women over, and now you want to stop it? Okay, so you get to pick and choose, like, when motherhood is... loved it!
Anyway, we're going to write our college essays about this, and we will post them. You guys, if you have to revise and review them, not our podcast, just the...
no, the essays that we will post
only.
Later.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think we can both say this movie... 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Hopefully you haven't listened to us spoil everything, but even if you have, it's still a fucking great movie.
Okay. We got so stoked about Barbarian that we talked a little bit longer than we thought we would, and you're welcome. So I hope that you watched it before you listened to this, and even if you did listen to it first, I hope that you still watch it. It's great. It's great.
If you're a lady, it's great. If you're a dude that has done some shitty things in your life, maybe it'll be a time to think about those things.
Exactly. Like, use this as an opportunity to reflect.
I do think people can grow.
No, I do. I think
we all think people can grow. So
people can grow.
We're not
people
saying that everyone's
chances.
Terrible all the time. We're saying that everyone can grow, and If you're like, I feel like an
But
AJ.
if you do happen to find yourself constantly being able to justify the things that you have done, maybe like take a
If
step
you
back.
relate too much to AJ, then you should probably take some time. Think about yourself.
Take some time.
But think about if you feel like AJ or if you're feeling like Justin Long. Because that can get confused because he is quirky and fun in pieces.
That's true. Justin Long, good.
AJ bad.
As far as we know. AJ bad.
But if you get into that quirkiness of him measuring stuff for house stuff, that's normal. That's okay. That's okay. That part's okay. Not Airbnb.
No, not Airbnb. And I do think that he was trying to like scam the system.
That's true.
Whatever.
Okay, maybe.
Whatever,
we'll not talk about that.
whatever.
We'll do that a different episode. We'll find it. We got
that'll
the
be another
purge
Shootin' the
coming
Shit.
up. So
Okay, what I'm trying to say is we talked too long. Thank you for joining us. We are going to push Smile into a second episode. And we will release that next week. So
if you love our voices and you want to keep hearing us speak, then catch us over at Debut Buddies. This week, I think coming up, we are talking about the first Garfield? The first Garfield. Which, I know you guys are like, Garfield?
The one comic strip for a whole podcast?
We do talk about it for a long time. We could have probably talked about it for longer. Please go check us out over there. It's fun.
We had a surprising amount of thoughts.
It is.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, our fun co-host is Nate, who joins us here on this podcast every so often. And yeah, check us out over there if you get the chance. Oh, shit. And we're also going to be on a podcast called Church Jams Now coming out sometime this month.
Yes.
We are reviewing an Evanescence album. The
Fallen.
first one.
You know the one.
Yeah.
Fallen. You wake me up inside, etc.
Yeah.
Can't wake up, etc. You know the one. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That was super fun.
How is the whisper? Wait, no, hold on.
I've been living a lie.
Living a lie.
There's nothing inside.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, check us out over there.
Check us out over there. Church Jams Now. In the meantime, please remember to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts is where it helps the most, but wherever you can listen to the podcast, wherever you can leave a review, please do. Please tell your friends. And remember, you can find us on Twitter at NoShowMonster. You can email us at noshowmonster@gmail.com. And we will talk to you next week about Smile. So go watch that because we're going to spoil the hell out of that one too. Happy spookies.
Happy spooky. Betty, I'm recording. Could you please kindly fuck off?